night, okay? Monday through Friday night, 8 to 10 was my Amway business. I think that was blue, okay? Now, then I had my job, okay? I went to work in the morning. I worked from, I went at 7 o'clock. I worked till like, say, 5 in the evening. That was it every day of the week. That was black, because that was a job, okay? All right, so every day during the week, from 7 to 5, on Sunday night, I wrote in my time when I went to work. And then at night, I worked from 11 till 6 in the morning as a police officer. Okay, those times were in there. Right? Now, if I was going to write in spouse time, I would put in my spouse time. And I would put it in on Sunday. Right? And then whatever the other things other obligations or stuff I had going, I did some stuff at church. So all of that time was written in my calendar on Sunday night. So now if you call me up and you say, hey, Craig, I really want you to meet with one of my people in my business, I look and say, well, I've got 8 to 10, either one, any of these nights. What works for you? And you say, none of that time works. I said, I'm really sorry. I don't say to my spouse, hey, you know what? Do you mind if I take this time and I go do this? Right? Because that's the only time they can meet. No, that's not right, because now I'm stealing from them, devaluing them, and now my whole life's out of control. And so many of you that don't use a calendar, your life is like, you know where it is? It's in your head. That's why at night you can't sleep. You lay in bed and go, I got to take Johnny to the dentist tomorrow. I can't forget that. I was going to tell Craig to pick up the kids, and I forgot to tell. And you're sitting there, and your whole life is just spinning around. If you can go to bed at night and know when I open my calendar tomorrow, my entire day's in front of me. Right? But you can't give away time. You can't put your Beachbody time in here and not use that space. And put something else in there. Or trade off something else. Because then your whole life becomes out of control. If you all of a sudden change this way of thinking, and all of a sudden you start to really control your calendar, to where Sunday night you sit down and you write down, you fill in your week for kid time, you fill in your week for spouse time, you fill in your week for whatever others, and it's all in there. And you don't even have what's going to happen. Like if you have Beachbody from 4 to 6 on Friday, let's say, you just write the color in there. You don't even know what that appointment's going to be yet. You don't even have it set up yet, but that's the time you're going to do it. So if somebody calls you and says, I want to meet with you, say, I got 4 to 6 on Friday. Can you do that? Yes, I can. No, I can't. Well, then let's see what time I do have next week, or Saturday if I got Beachbody time on Saturday. But you can open up your calendar. Let's say Beachbody time's green because you're going. Let's say it's green. All you have to do is look at your calendar and see where all the green times are. If it's a green time, you get to put your appointment in there for Beachbody. If it's a red time, you can't. Or a blue time, you can't. That belongs to the kids or somebody else. That's, I know some of you go, God, this sounds really terrible to have to live this way. Okay, then don't. And stay broke. Because if you don't find time to build this business, and you don't find time to effectively use your 168 hours, I guarantee you're going to be using the time excuse the rest of your life. And you're never going to make it in this business. You've got to get organized. And for sanguines, this doesn't feel good. They want to be spontaneous. I just like to do what I live in the moment. Great. What kind of moments you had a lot lately? Right? You can't live in the moment and live your life, especially if you're here and you're married and you have kids and a husband and a job. Oh my gosh. It's like I'm thinking, are you kidding me? And you go, I don't know how I do it. I don't either. I don't either. You know, I work with Christy McLean closely, and I'm mentoring her and counseling her and working with her in her business. And the first time she came to me, she didn't have a calendar. I remember I sat down and met her at this bagel shop. Her kids were crawling over the back of my head, jumping up and down. And they were cute little kids, but I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not backhanding this guy. But no, seriously, they were just like kind of out of control. And she goes, okay, I got about 20 minutes, and I got to go do this, and I'm going to work out with Shalene, and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, what are you doing today? She said, oh, I got this. I go, where's it written? Oh, I don't know. I don't have it written down. It's got to go. And she was like, out of control life. I go, whoa, stop. I said, baby, you need a calendar. I know. I really need to get a calendar. I've just been talking about that for... Anyway, long story short, I didn't get her. She went out to find a calendar. She found her calendar. I texted her 3 days ago, you got your calendar yet? You got your calendar yet? You got your calendar yet? Finally, she said, yes, I found the one I want. Okay. I see her 30 days later. She opens her calendar. She has this look on her face like she's the most excited woman in the world. She's got everything written in the calendar. I go, what are you doing today? She goes, I got this at 2 o'clock, I got this at 3 o'clock, I got my Beachbody from 4 to 7, I'm going to be with Chris tonight. She was there, and she was like, just like happy. Happy. You know what else was great about it? She could turn it around and show it to me, and I said, what'd you do this month, or this week, or last week? She goes, here it is, and she showed it to me. Now I can counsel her. I got something to look at. You know, you say to your downline sometimes, what'd you do this week? Well, let's see, I did a couple follow-ups, and I mean, you don't know, but if I can look at her calendar, I know. And last month she said, I go, how'd the month go? You know, we had this meeting, and she goes, it didn't go that well. I go, why? She goes, I don't know. I said, well, let's see your calendar. So she turns her calendar around, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, okay, and so I give her a red pen, I said, circle every day you saw a new face. She goes, what do you mean? Circle every day you were creative. In this business, creative is what? Creative is either meeting a new customer, it's doing a prospecting or a exposure, okay, or it's doing a presentation. Okay, that's the only part that's creative in this business. Everything else is managing. So I said, circle the red circles. You know how many she had in 30 days? 3. Everything else was talking to the people who called her, meeting with their downline, taking them out to lunch to talk about their business for the 5,000th time. Right? It was all management, management, management. She goes, why didn't I grow this month? I go, take a look at your calendar. Right? It's a truth serum, you guys. It's real. And if you don't use one, you're not going to build this business effectively. I'm sorry, you just won't. The Post-its aren't going to make it. Right? Writing things on the wall aren't going to do it. Jotting things down while you're driving down the street doesn't do it. Okay? If you become disciplined to where this calendar is your life, you live by it every single day. You want to go diamond in 90 days, your calendar will get you there. Because you'll know what you're doing. This is an easy business to waste time. This business can be like nailing jello to a tree. Try that sometime. Okay? It doesn't work. It's like grabbing a bar of soap. Yeah, how's it going? Good. You know, I mean, sometimes it's hard to judge what's going on. Are you successful? I think so. How do you know? I did 10 things today. All 10 I wrote down. Here's my calendar. Here's what I did. Here's my contact. I had this 2-hour window of time. It was my exposure time. I was out there meeting people, out there doing the business. I had this time as my coffee time to work with it down. I mean, it's all there written down for you. The important part, you guys, it's going to give your upline a chance to counsel with you and look at your business. If you meet with me, bring a calendar. Because don't tell me what you've been doing. Let me see what you've been doing. Right? That's what's going to give you a chance to help you. And not just talk about it. Okay, but get it done. And so some of us in this room, I kind of go into more depth on this and cover a little bit more on the call. So if you want to download that for last week's call, it's on the back office. I taught this for about 45 minutes. But, the biggest thing is your priority list. Because decide what is your most important things in your life. And I guarantee you, if it's financially getting out of debt, and you tell me I want to bring my wife home from work or I want to be home from work in 6 months, you'll never do it, ever, in a million years, until you start eliminating some of the things that aren't getting you there. It's easy. Here's my priority. Should I do this? Will it get me there? No, cross it off. Craig, will you do this? Let me see. No, I can't do that. Just have to say no. It's not an emotional no. It's a decision no. Right? We have to be so focused on our calendar. A friend of mine flies F-16s. He's a pilot. And he told me one time, he said, the hardest part, flying that jet at that speed, one of the hardest parts is watching the instruments. Because he said you naturally want to try to figure it out. Like you naturally kind of want to look around and see where everything is. And he said, all you do is you keep your head right down on your panel like this. And you've seen those cockpits. You can look out and look around, and you're just like this, focused. And he said, easily, if you weren't looking, you could be flying upside down. You wouldn't know, because you don't know the difference. If you're up high enough, you can see the ground, you can't see. And he said, you've got to fly with those instruments. And if you don't discipline that, you're probably going to die. And so I think the calendar is kind of the same way. You have to live by that. Here's my day tomorrow. Nothing's going to cut into these spots. I'm not going to let it happen. Now, emergencies happen, things come up. Absolutely. But for the most part, when the day's over, I've lived what that day said I was going to do. Right? And if that's like those instruments, you can't waver from that. Because then at the end of the week, you're effective. You've done a lot of stuff. And you know what else is great about a calendar? You can see where you're wasting time. And a lot of us waste a lot of time. Okay? A lot of us waste a lot of time. In this business, what you do has to be action. It has to be creative stuff. If you want to build a fast business, you need to be in the creative stages of this business. And you need to create the momentum. And you need to call people to accountability. And people to go out and do what they say they're going to do. Just like all the stuff we've talked about tonight.